Hello and welcome. This is Ronnie. In this brief introduction, I would like to give you an idea of the range of markets that I follow. And what you see on the screen is a collection of charts that you would, let's say, see in a weekend video, for example. And I normally start with the Forex market. I select, let's say, 5 to 7 charts of the most interesting situations that I see, but you would almost always see the dollar index, the euro, the majors, yes, the dollar index, the euro, yen pairs, the pound, US dollar, and then I might focus on 2 or 3 minor pairs, maybe some exotics from time to time. I do follow in general about 30 to 40 pairs, and obviously I cannot include 30 and 40 pairs every day, and not even in a weekend video. It's simply impossible. So what I do, I go through them, not every day. I go through the 30-40 pairs, let's say at least once a week. Those that are the majors that are most heavily traded, I follow every hour, sometimes every 5 minutes. If I trade it myself, I would have it on my screen and I would follow it all the time. Just to give you an idea, so here you have the first Forex, yes, Forex section. That is followed often with charts of the US yields. So we have the FEX, which is the 5-year note, the yields, yes, the rates on the 5-year note. Then we have the TNX, which is the 10. Often I would also include the TYX, the 30-year rates. I would look at the futures contracts. Here we have the Globex version of the futures contract of the USD bond. That is the December contract. And I would often include, if there is a specific interest, if someone writes to me and says, hey, I'm trading currently short sterling, or I'm looking at the gilts, I'm interested in a specific contract, I would do my best to include it and to share with you whatever thoughts I have about that specific contract. I also look at the Euro bonds, of course, the Euro bonds, the gilts. I would look once in a while. I would look at the Japanese rates, at the Australian rates. These things are not things that I would look at every week, but once in a while, if there is a big move in the news or something, I would like to see how that is affecting the stock markets, how that is affecting the currencies, of course, etc. I would also look for, at Italian rates. Sometimes you have very good play between Italian bonds, yes, Italian rates, and how that affects the stock markets, etc. Okay, so that is concerning rates. Now next, I'm going to show you here the section of the precious metals. I have here gold, spot gold, and spot silver priced in US dollars. You should expect to see them every day. If you are on the daily service, you would see them every day, and of course I include them also in the weekend videos. I also follow them through priced in other currencies, like I would follow the gold and silver priced in euro or in British pound or Japanese yen. You can get some very interesting insights doing that. When it comes to the metals, I would also follow the high-grade copper quite frequently, high-grade copper being very important economic barometer, high-grade copper, platinum, other metals less frequently, but I include them, especially if there is an interest, if someone writes to me and says that he's interested in a specific thing. And then we move on to the energy sector. You can expect to see light crude and Brent crude on a daily basis. I follow them very regularly. I also look at other markets, although I wouldn't follow them every day, like gasoline, coal, heating oil. I have here natural gas for you to see. I follow also that, not on a daily basis, but once in a while I would follow natural gas. And that gives you an idea roughly of the commodities up to now. I'll mention commodities later on in this introduction. Then I move to the stock markets, and I choose to start with the US. The US being the motor, really, the economic motor of the world. There are competitors, but for right now there are not many that can really turn the markets as the US manages to do that. And I would often start with the Dow. We're talking about cash indices, the Dow Transportation Average, the S&P 500 cash, the S&P 400 cash. I would follow also with the S&P 100, the OX. I would look at the Nasdaq Composite Cash, the Nasdaq 100, the Russell 2000 Cash. All these are absolutely very, very important indices. I would focus on the interplay and the effect of which one is the leader, which one is the leader in strength, leader in weakness, etc. And then I would move on to the European markets, and I would almost always on a daily basis look at the DAX, very important. The CAC 40 of France. In Europe, I would also look at Italy's MIB, at Spain's IBEX 35, at the Greek Composite Index, at the Swiss Index. I would look at Russia fairly often. And I would also look for once in a while at northern markets. That is at Stockholm 30. I would look at the Copenhagen 20, the index, at the Helsinki 25. You sometimes get some fast moves occurring in these markets. And again, if there is a specific interest, someone writes to me and says he's following a certain thing, or he's a subscriber from, let's say, Denmark, he's got keen interest in that market, I would make an effort to include that for him. Not necessarily on a daily basis, it all depends on the amount of work that I have and general interest, but I would definitely include it from time to time so that the person interested in that would derive some benefit, hopefully. And I would like to touch now on the South American indices that I often follow. I would look carefully at the Brazilian market. I would look at the Brazilian market, at the Ibovespa of Brazil, sometimes at the ETF. I would look at the Argentinian market. I'd look at Chile. I've got a fund that I am very interested, I'm following it regularly. That's the Aberdeen Chile fund. I would look at the Mexico fund. Okay, so that follows that closes the stock markets in the US, in Europe, in South America, and of course we have also Canada. I've not forgotten Canada. I'm looking at several Canadian indices. Again, mostly cash. I'm looking at the energy index. I would look at the banking index. I would look at the Toronto 60. Quite a few indices in Canada, also very important. And then we look at the Asian markets. From the whole string of the Asian markets, I would often include on a daily basis the Chinese index. Yes, can't guarantee every single day, but let's say this is most likely to be there on a daily basis. I would look at the Hang Seng. We've got a whole string of markets here. I've got the Japanese Nikkei, of course. I would look at Taiwan, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Australia, very important, the Philippines, and that brings to an end at India. Yes, if I didn't mention, I would look at India. Several indices are available for analysis in India, and I would also once I cover an index, for example, let's say I follow now the Indian market. There is a very big move in the Indian market, very, very exciting, very interesting, that is projected to last many months, possibly years. Then I would select ETFs that could reflect, if you don't have direct access to trade the cash index that I follow in India. Obviously it's not easy to replicate that, so you can look for ETFs traded mostly in the US that would give you access and will replicate fairly closely the index that I have in mind. Look here, for example, we have the Bombay Sensex 500. I've got it Indian mid cap, that is the Bombay mid cap, yes, smaller companies. So there are ETFs in the US, registered in the US, that would give you that ability to basically follow, like the Brazilian ETF here would give you the chance to follow the Brazilian market, yes, the general index of Brazil. And then, as you can see, I have here the CRB. I have here the CRB, that's the CRB Global. I would often take a look at it, especially if we have a big move in the dollar index, as they have inverse relationship. Yes, the dollar index and CRB. I've got here the CRB Global Commodities Index. I do follow also specific commodities, individual commodities like corn, soybeans, and wheat of the grains. Sometimes even the oats. I would look at coffee, sugar, and cocoa. Again, not on a daily basis, not on a weekly basis, but once in a while, especially if there is a very interesting setup, or if there is someone who is very keen on trading these products. If you let me know, I will take a careful look for you. Also, cotton and orange juice. So as you can see, the range of markets that I follow is huge. I obviously cannot include all of them in every single video that I record. The weekend videos include more charts. They look at longer term scale. The daily videos are more focused on the short term. So I hope that gives you some sort of perspective of the work that is presented on this website. Hope you enjoyed the presentation, and hope to see you on my website more frequently. Bye now.